say, well, most definitely 100%, that there is trouble literally in the marriage of Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. And it's all laid bare each time Meghan decides to take to the airwaves or indeed, more importantly, reveal the inner workings of her married life. As ever, let me explain. Morning, good to see you. Thank you so much. Oh, we'll have a lovely wave, sorry. You all right today? By the way, in 1678, on this day, a man that was very important in the world of classical music, Vivaldi, was born. Yes, we all know the Four Seasons, don't we? Are you like that with classical music? We all know them, but we don't necessarily know who wrote them. And when you think about it, they were the pop masters of their day. You know, sheet music flew off the stands. Everybody wanted them to play them at their parties and balls and get-togethers and stuff like that. So you just sort of think, you know, as I've often said here, chums, on the show, nothing is incredibly new, is it? Absolutely, 100%. It's a little bit like this particular story. Meghan Markle, once again, has decided to share her love for the world, you know, via With Love. I did love the story, by the way, about how this particular programme was created, because apparently a chum in the room, and get this, apparently there was 80 crew to make a cooking show. Another lie, you know. How on earth do you get to 80 people to make a programme like that? As I've often said, chums, I've made television for years. You can have big crews, but you certainly don't need that level for something as simplistic as that. Filming in a rented house with a few arc lights and a couple of cameras does not make 80 crew. What a diva, what a cost, is all you can say. But here's where it gets really interesting, because once again, as one can imagine, Meghan's very keen to reinforce just how shall we say, perfect her California life is. But we can see this fractions, because we saw that over in the Invictus Games. You know, Harry is perpetually moody and, more importantly, not happy, whatever he says. It's a difficult fine line, though, because clearly he's got certain issues that is spoken about on many different levels. You get the picture. But moving forward, what was fascinating was this. You see, as Meghan decided to plough ahead, and apparently, according to her, both Harry and, of course, the children, including Archie, who begs her not to work so hard. What, less than 1 hour a week for the charity, sister? You call that hard working? And have you noticed suddenly with Archie, he's suddenly become like the Archie Andrews ventriloquist doll, or the Charlie McCarthy doll. After years of saying nothing, seemingly just lying there in a comatose state, is obviously up there now, speaking at great length, no doubt taking off the lectern of Meghan and wanting to hold speeches. You get the picture. But on a more serious note, it says a lot about this, because I was told from an excellent source working on that show that the bottom line was, and there certainly weren't 80 people, Meghan, right? Let's just clear that up for once. Certainly not 80 people. Now, what was interesting about this particular story was the fact that Netflix insisted on, you know, Harry coming into the picture. There's no two ways about it. They had to have him, right? Now, where it gets even more interesting is that he didn't want to be on camera. He's had enough of this stuff nonsense. You know, he's seen the fact that polo didn't work, or, you know, whatever you want to call it. It certainly wasn't triggering what he thought it was going to do. Now, again, where I find this particularly fascinating is that clearly Meghan coerced him into this sort of coming to meet me. Yes, he did come along to the set, you know, that's 100% fact, but he didn't want to be on camera, which was more infuriating when you think for the company that are, you know, paying you big bucks to bring the box office. They don't care about some D-list actress who was in a soap who talks about keeping the very first pencil skirt from a scene in Suits. You're not that interesting. He is. The connections, the sort of background story, of course, his late mother, His Majesty the King. He has a story. They want it. They're certainly not interested in her. But according to that source, Harry took a lot of cajoling, even just to appear for that nanosecond, as you saw in that particular trailer. And to say it was fraught is an understatement. Now, people might say he was just in a bad mood on that particular day. But that source tells me that Meghan definitely is pushing as hard as she can to keep him happy. He's very disillusioned, disenchanted, and certainly does not want this particular Netflix streaming, filming life that she so wants to wholly embrace. As I told you before, he believes eventually she may tire of this, move forward, and maybe take a back seat and take the life in Africa that she promised she really wanted to do. Seemingly, though, only Harry believed her. Neil Sean in the very heart of London.